Hey, sports fans, Louis Diamond in the BettorCenter studios with another version of BettorCenter Live. And we're going to talk NFL football today. And we have two guests with us joining us today. First guest is going to be our first time, is going to be a first timer here on BettorCenter, and that's going to be Big Rick. The next guest is going to be a third or fourth timer right now. Anthony Nasor giving us some great line moves. Looking forward to seeing what Big Rick's got for us on the BettorCenter board. But before we get into what Big Rick has, let's just get into some games. Let's talk about some of the line moves and just a quick little rundown that I like to do in the beginning of these shows, give you a little idea of why things have been moving. We'll start right at Tennessee and Jacksonville. Game opens up at a pick'em. Everybody in the world is on Tennessee here today, guys, even me. But I just used them on a teaser for a little bit. I loved them in the beginning of the week. I mean, loved them like everybody else. You had the big loss for Tennessee last week. Then when they were the favorite, and you had Jacksonville as the big win when they were the dog, and that's got all the spelling the following week for Tennessee. Everybody is on them, guys. I'd be a little bit worried about them. So, but I can't see Jacksonville as a play here. I'm not a big fan of Marone. In fact, he's a guy that I want to bet against all season long. So I will be on the Tennessee teaser, and but I won't be on it very big here today. I'm going to kind of root for it and see where it goes. Total opens up 43.5. They definitely steamed it a little bit to the under, down to 41.5. So 2-point move on the under for that game. Next game on the board will be the Cleveland-Baltimore game, and that game's opens with Baltimore -7. Got them bet up to 8. Now they're back down to a solid 7.5 across the board. Total opened up at 41, got steamed down to 38, and now we're up to 38.5 and 39. So some of the buyback is bought in there. And what can you really say about this? Baltimore, all I can really do is I think this is the type of game that'll probably work all the way around on a teaser. So it could be that type of a game. And seeing Baltimore down at just winning the game is a probable. And so there might be some value with them as the best angle of that teaser. Buffalo and Carolina. Is Buffalo going to be a Cinderella team this football season? I don't know. So they threw everybody away, and they're pretty much starting from scratch. They beat the hapless Jets last week. But Carolina comes in after traveling, and they're at home. How are they going to lose to this Buffalo team? Pretty hard not to want to jump on them as a teaser as well. I don't know if I'd want to lay down to the 6.5 right now, opened up at a 7, and now down to 6.5 the total. 42 up to 43.5. So originally a little bit of a steam on the under, went down to 42, but up to 43.5. And then you have the New England and New Orleans game. How's New England going to lose 2 games in a row? Especially with New Orleans. So how you not try to use them on the teaser? Betting New England down there. They opened up at 4.5. They got bet up to 7. Now they're back down to 6. And total goes from 54.5 all the way up to 57. Now it's back down to 55. But how is it not New England and over? But the way Brady looked Thursday night, you know, maybe you just want to sit back and see what happens before you get on the over. But I got to believe that New England has got to win this game here today. So teaser play there for New England. Arizona, Indianapolis. How are they not going to beat Indianapolis? This Indianapolis team is just inept. They have no quarterbacking and terrible coaching. I mean, how are they not prepared for this stuff with Matthew Luck or Andrew Luck and have this type of quarterbacking? No offensive line, no defense. I mean, yes, Carson Palmer's aging. I am not on the Carson Palmer bandwagon. I really never have been outside of his first 2 years where I got misled. So, but how do you not play them today? Down to a pick'em. You know, they got to beat Indianapolis. Total 44.5. Got to tease it to the over, but how do you expect an Indianapolis to put points on the board? They struggle. This team's going to struggle all season. Going to be a good fade. So Philadelphia, Kansas City. Now, this is going to be a great game. Andy Reid against his old team, but that's kind of old news now. But now they're at home. Philly beating Washington. I'm not that impressed. KC beating New England. I am impressed, obviously. But the question is, will KC be able to not be flat after that game? A lot of questions in that one right there. Total, KC opens up 4.5, gets a little steam to the 5. But I got to think here again, KC at home. I don't think they're going to lose either. So, yeah, I'm finding these, 7-point favorites that I think are just going to, or somewhere close to that, that just need to win the game. Pittsburgh, here's another one. They were flat last week and got a lot of ribbing for just barely beating Cleveland. Minnesota had a wonderful Monday Night Football, but I got to sit down and believe that Pittsburgh's going to win this game at home. But that's the one I'm a little more worried about because I'm not too sure what Minnesota has. They started the season out like gangbusters last year, and then they fell flat on their face. So, beating beating New Orleans on Monday night at home isn't really something that you say that makes you set the world on fire. So next game on the board is Chicago and Tampa Bay, and this game here again, 7-point home favorite. Okay, all right. So Glennon is his revenge going back to Tampa Bay. What revenge? I don't know. Can I buy into that? I can't. I really can't. The Bears, Atlanta, they could be hung over. I don't know what happened last week, but, landed close to the number. The Bears, I don't see it. I don't see them beating Tampa Bay. It's a big division. Maybe, they'll play them tough. It's, but Tampa Bay should be able to win this game. Why aren't they on a teaser here today? Game opens up. Tampa Bay 5.5 gets bet up to 7. Total 43 up to 44. And then you got Miami at the LA Chargers. That one is that's a toss-up. I'm not seeing any value in that game whatsoever. Chargers open up at 5, bet down to 3.5, but that was a fast early steam, so not too much movement on the game after that. So a little early steam on Miami. And then we got the Jets and the Raiders. This is probably a spot where Raiders are just going to walk away with this game. I don't know how, surprise me, Jets. I doubt it. Raiders on a teaser. Raiders probably just a blowout win and probably over, but I'm not sure how the Jets are going to put the points on the board. And I think that Raiders could be possibly the 41-3 type of game. Washington and the Rams. Rams, they could be a very, the other Shawnee Mack. You got two Shawnee Macks that win on their first games out last week with Buffalo. And now we got Shawnee Mack over here with the Rams. But he had probably a more impressive win last week. And a lot of people starting to back off, thinking that he might be the quarterback of the future. Probably is a quarterback of the future. And looked impressive last week. Think that they may be something to look at. Can't just jump on them just yet. Can't see the teaser either. But Washington is certainly not a team that I want to back. Cousins, I'm not seeing it there. Dallas at Denver could be one of the games of the day and could be a very exciting game. But I don't think that Denver's going to be able to put the points on the board. I mean, they impressed me last week. I guess bucked me a little bit because they put some points on the board last week. Wasn't expecting that. They have to live on their defense, and that's eventually going to bite them. But Denver's a home dog. Hard not to like a little bit. So I think I'll just enjoy this game here today. Maybe a little teaser with Denver, but nothing too big. San Fran, Seattle. Seattle's in disarray. The offense is not doing the job, and the defense is letting them know. So, one side's mad at the other side. That could spell trouble for Seattle, but they have covered 9 out of the last 10 versus San Fran and 5 straight at home. So if Seattle's going to get better and gel, this is the spot for them today. So they could be the big blowout, but they could also be in disarray and maybe falling apart. We're going to find that out today, too. Green Bay, Atlanta, that is my NFL game of the month. All you got to do is text free winner to 90210. I'm going to get you a solid winner in that game. So text it right now, you get a free winner. So, and then there's a quick rundown of today's NFL schedule. Now, let's welcome our first guest of the day and our first timer, Big Rick from Orchard Park, New York, and the Buffalo Bills. What's happening, Big Rick?
What's up, Mr. Louie? I want to thank you and the staff there at BettorCenter for having me on. I appreciate it. Um, it's always a pleasure speaking with you.
Absolutely great to have you here, Rick. A little history. Rick and I go way, way back to childhood days. So talking about games and gambling is kind of in our blood, and it's gelled together with our families, and it's hard to
Louie,
leave.
I got into gambling, mostly thoroughbred horse racing, thanks to your father, who I love dearly. And so I have him to thank for my love of thoroughbred horse racing.
My father was definitely avid horse fan, and every
Yes.
day, never really missed that track. So, and the greatest thing is never got in trouble. So that was probably the best thing that he taught us, to gamble with our heads and not over our heads. He didn't hide it from us. There wasn't a problem with it. It was learning how to enjoy it, and I did. And then I figured how to beat it. And so you're saying you got some ways to beat it right now, right?
Well, Lou, not that I'm new to this. I'm new to the Better Center thing. Thanks to you. My picks are on there. I don't hide anything. I don't pick every game. I just pick the games I like. I've been doing this for a long time. Years ago, I had my own 900 line when that was popular. Got out of that, but still have always stayed sharp with my handicapping. Past few weeks, I've been extremely hot. College football is what I love. The NFL, I go through with a fine tooth comb, look for some weak stuff, and there's a few weak things today.
Okay, what's week out there? What do we got? Let's make some money with everybody.
Well, Tennessee and Jacksonville. I understand the hype with Jacksonville. They've got a great defense, but they have no quarterback. So when I look at these games, I look at quarterback matchups. I definitely give the edge to Mariota and Tennessee. I like their approach. They will put some points up on that Jacksonville defense today, and they will come out on the right end. I'm looking at Tennessee 27, Jacksonville 14. The next game that I love, and to me this is a mismatch, even though they had a great Monday night. I watched it. I love the way Minnesota played, but taking into consideration, I have very little respect for what New Orleans brings to the table. So, I look at that with open eyes. Some people got wowed by Minnesota. And again, for me, it's a respect factor with New Orleans. I have what New Orleans has. I know they don't have much. Drew Brees is getting older. I'm sorry. So that matchup with Minnesota, let's not read too much into it. Today they play Pittsburgh. Heavy doses of Le'Veon Bell. Big Ben will have a field day. This game will not be close. Bradford, shockingly, like he has been so many times in his career, will be watching this from the sidelines. And I'll take Big Ben versus Case Keenum any day of the week. That is an easy play to me. Pittsburgh rolls by 20 or more in this game.
I think you might be right on that one. I think you kind of. I'm a little worried about it because, like I said a little bit earlier, I'm not too sure what Minnesota brings, but I really don't think Minnesota brings what they brought last year in the beginning of the season, and I think that they may be a decent fade.
Louis, it's very tough, and we've been doing this a long time. They were emotionally charged for that opener against the Saints.
Yes.
They brought everything they had against the Saints. In this league, it's tough unless you're an elite team to put two strong weeks like that back to back. Playing Pittsburgh's not going to be fooled by Cook, running on them. They face Le'Veon Bell every day. The Pittsburgh defense does. So there's going to be no shock there facing a good back. I look for Minnesota to struggle to get into the end zone and Pittsburgh to basically do what they want offensively. This will be Pittsburgh's, coming out party. They were a little sluggish last week against Cleveland, but again, know your opposition. Cleveland is better than people think. Cleveland is building something there. They have kids that are hungry. So just don't chalk that up that, they rolled over a really bad football team. Cleveland will put their wins together as the season goes on and those players get more reps.
All right. I like the confidence. I like the way you're winning right now. You got the confidence. You feel like you're in the zone, and I got to tell you, you're throwing me in your zone, and I'm kind of sold on your Pittsburgh. I'm feeling I'm definitely going to throw them in a teaser here right now. And you know, like I said earlier with the Titans, they're both kind of the same theories. The team that did great the week before is probably not going to do that well because they can't put back-to-back games together in this league. It's very, very hard to do unless you're an elite team. And both scenarios definitely look in your favor. So.
Louis, the last game I wanted to just touch on briefly, if you'd be so kind, is the aforementioned Saints against the Patriots.
Yes.
We all saw the problems the Patriots had against Kansas City. But this is the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans does not have a defense like Kansas City does. If there was a team for the Patriots to get right against and rebound, here comes the New Orleans Saints. This is a perfect matchup for Tom Brady and that offense to start to get on track. Mike Gillislee, their red zone back, should have a great day against this Saints defense, which is questionable at best. I look for the Patriots to get right in a big way here. This is a perfect matchup for that. And again, Breeze not getting any younger, and his arm, to me, I think is starting to fail him. The Pats defense really isn't going to scare anybody, but they do have active cornerbacks who are pretty good and should be able to bottleneck Drew Brees most of the afternoon.
I agree. New Orleans is definitely a team that will struggle. Will Brady come back? He has to. Here's the way I look at it. I haven't given up on him, but I'm not going to pull the big trigger on it. So, but I did use them in a teaser as well. So, but Rick, loaded with great information. Really appreciate you coming out today, and looking forward to having you back out here again and showing everybody the winners you got, because I know you got some. All right, looks like we might have froze with Rick there. So, but Big Rick joining us here on BettorCenter Live. You can look for Big Rick on the BettorCenter leaderboard. He gave you 3 solid plays there today. Hopefully you can take advantage of them. I'm definitely feeling real good about what he said. Great content. Looking forward to getting more of his information here on the BettorCenter Reports. And don't forget, you're going to get BettorCenter live 1 hour before the first kickoff on Saturday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific. And on Sundays, right now, 1 hour before the kickoff, it's 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern Time for BettorCenter Live to get you down through all the games that we can get you out before the games start. We got about 40 minutes before the original kickoff, or the first kickoff of the first games. So let's before we bring Anthony in, because we're waiting to get Anthony in the hopper, let me get you a few little line changes that's happening since Rick and I have left or started talking. And San Fran and Seattle is getting some good understeam right now, as it's down to 41. Went from 43.5 down to 41. And the Minnesota-Pittsburgh game, after Rick talked about it, a little steam to the under. 45.5. Now we're seeing as low as 43 in a couple spots. Carolina is being faded right now. The Buffalo Bills seem to be the flavor of the moment, down to -6, and that total's still at a 43. And we have the New Orleans game is back down. I'm seeing 54.5. So all that over money has just been bought back. So a lot of under money there. And a lot of it could be right there what Rick's saying, thinking Breeze. Game might be passed him by. New Orleans is not the offense they used to be. And maybe they will struggle to get them points on the board. I think the over on the teaser should hit, though. But definitely New England on the teaser. So Anthony Nasor will be joining us here, and let's welcome him, Anthony Nasor, to the BettorCenter show. What do we got happening on the streets of Reno, Anthony?
You've got some good stuff going today.
All
Check
right.
it out, Lou. We've got some really good moves. There
Go
are
ahead.
some really good numbers on the board today.
Got my pen ready.
Lots
I'm
of
ready.
underdogs can win outright.
Nice. What do you got? Dogs.
What we
The
have
dogs
here
are
today.
barking.
Yeah, dogs that can win outright.
All right. Where are we starting? Are you with us,
Can
Anthony?
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Where are we starting? What game are we starting with today?
All right. First up on the board, we have the Colts. I know a lot of people I guess they'd be a little amiss to try and bet the Colts in this spot, but it's actually a really good spot to catch them at home with the touchdown against the Cardinals. The Cardinals are not an elite team and should not be giving away this much chalk on the road. What we have here is a 67% cover record for that number. I believe that it's probably going to go down by the time game time starts. I'd see it landing at 6.5 or maybe even 6. If you can get a 7, grab it right now and hang on for dear life because it's not going to be a pretty game. I believe that Brissett will get it done. Another one that we're looking at here, we've got the Saints actually with the +6 against the Patties. Now,
Balls are the biggest church bells
nobody's
of the
gonna
day.
take this
Go
What we
ahead.
like about this one here is that the Patties are coming off that loss. Usually when a team that's a marquee name like that loses a game, a lot of Joes spend their uninformed money on that team trying to recoup their money. But they're in a dangerous place to go down and pick up the win. Actually, the Saints may end up having a chance to win this game late. This point, 6 points is just way too generous to give a team like that with a quarterback with the pedigree of Drew Brees. I do believe that this game should land somewhere within about a 3-point game. 6 points is way too many. Those are our two barking dogs for the day.
Those are two big barking dogs. I got to give you that because I would, I have a tough time certainly going against New England, but after a loss, I have a real tough time. But I could see your point. I'm certainly not on New England in laying the points, but I just got to believe there's value in New England just winning the game, throwing them in the teaser. But, I do remember New England down there, and I do remember it was a tough game. I thought and it landed 51, and the over-under was 51.5, so got a double burn on that. It was New Orleans and under that day. That I do remember. The Colts.
Better, it looks like a dinner bet. A lot of guys will look at a game, they'll get up off their couch, which is the objective of the line maker. The objective of the line maker is basically this. He wants to get the average Joe up off his couch and bet his uninformed money on a game. He looks at the 6, he sees the 6, because that's an easy number for the pass to cover. When in reality, it's just not really going to happen that way. Like I said, this is at the most a field goal game. I really like these dogs that we played today. We've actually played some other ones too. These
What else
two
you
are
got?
really top-notch dogs. Those are horrible. They looked terrible against the Rams last week.
Yes.
That's the reason why you back them now, while their stock is very low.
Well, I do agree with that theory. If you have a team that might be able to rebound, I think this Indianapolis team is confused. I think it might be a little bit deeper than that. But Arizona laying a touchdown on the road is certainly something you don't want to do. And I'm just thinking that
David Johnson now too.
no, they're definitely not that caliber of a ball club.
I do
So
believe that at the end of this game, it's going to be very ugly. I do believe the Colts may even have a shot at winning this game. Like I said, the Cardinals are not an elite team. They should not be giving away this many points in a row. This game is a 4-point game at the most. I believe that Brissett actually may be the answer for them in the meantime until Luck comes back, which I believe now I'm hearing that he's going to be out until October, so it's going to be his job for a while. And he can get comfortable with that role. And he's better than the quarterback they had last week by far.
Oh, Tolzien's terrible. He's terrible. He doesn't even belong there. But that's what I mean with the coaching. How does how does Indianapolis not have themselves a quarterback? You know, they knew there was issues with Luck. I don't think there's a surprise here. I think there's a little bit more deeper than what was really happening. And how are they not prepared? And Brissett, I mean, the verdict's out on him. Yes, bring him in. Let's see what he can do. But they should have made a bigger push for, thinking Tolzien was their answer was a big mistake as well. And now you got an offensive line that does nothing. So it's tough to back them, but their backs are against the wall. They are at home. And when you back an animal again in a corner, they fight.
Yeah, it's going to be a disaster for the Cardinals going out there. It really is. This team really needs a win just to improve their psyche. I believe they're going to go all out in this game. Colts are, like I said, it's a tough proposition. I mean, for a person that likes to bet on the teams that they think they're going to win, you know, this is one of those type of games where there's going to be a lot of money on the other side. But again, we're dealing with the point spread here. And as I said last week, all we do is we buy the best numbers on the board regardless of who the team is. We don't care who they are. But if the number fits the situation, we're going to blast away on that number. And we're never going to look back. We're just going to blast away.
All right. That's the way it's done. All right, Anthony. Appreciate you joining us again here today. Again, we'll be here Saturdays and Sundays, 1 hour before kickoff. And Anthony has been joining us, kind enough to join us, been giving us some great information, and gave us a lot more great information today. Any last parting picks or any parting words for us?
Yeah, I have a bonus baseball pick for you guys.
Oh.
We noticed that there was some sharp money coming in on the Blue Jays late. So we decided to get in on the action as well. We hijacked this one from a very trusted group. They have a pretty good, strong pedigree around locally. I think that the Blue Jays should be a very good pick for someone who wants to play some stick ball today. Get down some. I think the price is plus 125 would be a genie on the bump. His record is awful, but in baseball that really doesn't mean much.
I think the dog pound is in your backyard up in Reno today anyways, right? So, all right. Thank you for joining us, Anthony. A lot of dogs from him today. So hopefully you can take advantage of it and take advantage of the information that you're getting here from BettorCenter Live. I'd like to thank our guests once again. Big Rick from Orchard Park, New York, with 3 solid plays for you. And once again, Anthony Nassor, Reno Sharp VIP, getting you the steam moves straight from the streets. This is Louis Diamond. Look forward to seeing you again here next week on BettorCenter Live.